cotton candy, popcorn, and the Ringling Brothers on acid. That's right, we watched the 1987 cult classic, Killer Klowns from Outer Space. We watched it so you don't have to. So you know what that means.
Horror, so bad and scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot, who needs it? Don't turn on the lights. Cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad and scary. Enjoy the show, but not really.
Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of Horrible Horror, the podcast where we watch the worst of the worst in horror movies, the movies that are so bad they're scary. I'm your host, Marshall Hampton. With me, as always, is my best friend and soon-to-be married friend, and a guy whose ass I am kicking this week in fantasy football, Mr. Aaron Southworth.
How's it going, Marshall? And I think Adam Vinatieri may have a 20-point game today. So it's not over yet, pal.
You're right. It's not over yet. If
It's
you
not
get
over yet.
25 points on your kicker, you're fine.
Oh, we're good. It's happening.
All right, so this is our 21st episode, so we are legal, people. We can drink.
We can now drink, but we can't rent a car.
Nope, we cannot. So yes, today, if you follow our webpage and everything that you know, we are doing a classic that most people have heard of. And if you haven't heard of it, then you've been living in under
Go
a
to
rock.
hell.
So
No.
we are doing Killer Klowns from Outer Space, the 1987-88 classic. Wow, this movie is like banana levels bonkers.
Yeah.
It's just crazy out there. It's like...
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is.
You know.
So it's not that long. It's about 88 minutes long. You can find it pretty much everywhere. It's on Netflix, iTunes, Amazon, and Vudu. Aaron, did you do your Xbox video?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I did.
So you can find it on Xbox too. It's written and it was written by the Chiodo brothers and directed by Steven Chiodo. The cast is there's a few actually people that you would recognize from the 80s. There are a few character actors who have done tons of shit.
Right.
Most notably being John Vernon, who plays police captain Curtis Mooney. This guy is like a super character actor, supporting actor. He's like 202 credits on IMDb for his career, but he passed away in 2005.
Yeah, he's done a ton of stuff. I recognize him from Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
He was the mayor in Dirty Harry.
Yeah,
So.
if you see this guy, you'd recognize from everything. And then we also have another famous character actor, Royal Dano, who played the farmer. He had a 42-year career with, again, close to like 200 credits. He died in 1994.
Yeah,
at the
he's
age
in
of
everything.
71. A couple other people noticed. John Allen Nelson is in it. He plays cop Dave Hansen. And a tidbit for people who, probably the person who, other than Vernon, is probably the most noticeable out of this, and that's pushing it, is Christopher or Chris Titus. He is a stand-up comedian. He had his own show in the 2000s. He's probably the one that might kind of, I guess, went on to be the most notable out of this cast. But
He's
he has
in this movie?
The smallest part. It's his first movie role ever. He's in it for like 2 minutes, and I don't know if he even speaks, but he is in the movie. So, yeah, we're dive right into this crazy, crazy acid trip of a movie. So, getting into it.
Maybe a candy flip of a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. For all your ravers out there.
It opens on a scene at Big Top Burgers, which is just the small town burger joint. And you see this kid walking across the street who's drinking a can of beer. And when I say beer, it's beer brand beer. It's
White label,
with white can,
black print,
yeah,
beer.
that says beer on it.
And I know this exists because I've seen the cans. If anybody knows where to find these, please let me know. I've got to try just beer.
Beer brand beer.
Beer.
So I think this is the guy that's Curtis Titus, because he's wearing the glasses, so you see later in the makeout point and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Chris Titus. Now we cut to makeout point. There's a bunch of cars up there and couples making out, and again you see people making out in like their trunks, which is really weird.
Yeah, it's almost like a tailgating event for tail.
Yeah,
You know,
it really
like
is.
it's real weird because they're all college age kids and they're all at makeout point.
Which I think they actually call the top of the world. In this
Right,
movie.
and it's where everyone goes to get down.
Yeah.
Go to the top of the world to get down.
And then you hear this ice cream truck pulls up. And, it's obnoxious and it's annoying. There's a giant clown head on the top of this thing. And it's the Terenzi brothers. That's their name. And who play a big part in the movie. They're out here on and off throughout the whole movie. The main couple which we learned is Mike and Debbie. They are in the back of a station wagon making out. But instead of just the back of the station wagon, they decided to get clever and make out in an inflated raft,
right?
Which isn't like your normal like flat pool raft. No, it's like the yellow raft from Indiana Jones that they jump out of the plane on.
It's exactly what I was thinking. It's like they're going to go whitewater rafting after a little bit of love making.
Which just makes it. I'm sorry, but that looks even more uncomfortable than just the trunk of a station wagon.
I don't know. I kind of liked it. I was like, well, you're kind of confined. You got the bounciness a little bit of the walls. I mean, it could be fun. It could be fun.
It looked cramped to me and uncomfortable. But anyway, so here we see a UFO. What at first people think is a comet, but you see something go
shooting star
across the sky. They all think it's comets. And this is where we meet Farmer Gene Green.
All right. The shooting star goes by and it lands on, what is it, an 1849er surveyor? I mean...
He talks like the biggest hillbilly, and they're like, yo, doggy, like you're beating the gold over them hills.
Wow, big green horny toads. There's going to be a whole bunch of people coming to see that, Haley's Comet.
It's like you say, just get some 6 shooting stars. Yeah! I mean, it's really stereotypical. So... Gene Green and his dog Boo go
Pooh.
I thought it was Boo.
Pooh Bear, he called him.
Pooh Bear?
Yes.
I thought it was Boo Bear, but anyway, doesn't matter. They go and they find this giant circus big top in the middle of like this clearing. And he's like, oh, it's a circus. Where do I get my tickets at?
He's all the circuses in town. Pooh, I love the circus. I mean, I'm not exaggerating.
No, that's a pretty damn good right on.
I'm not exaggerating. This is exactly how this guy talks.
Yes. And so he goes off to look for tickets, and the clown, somebody, kidnaps the farmer's dog.
So he's looking for a ticket booth to go see the show. Mm-hmm. The clown comes out of the big top and throws a ridiculously huge butterfly net over this dog.
Yep. And the dog disappears. And now the farmer comes back and he rages. He goes into like this, like almost you would think like stroke-inducing rage that his dog is gone. And he's like, I want my dog back.
I gotta sympathize. I'm an animal lover too.
I am too. I would be pissed
if some asshole stole my dog. Yeah.
But it's just funny to watching this guy do it the way he does. It's entertaining.
He's a good actor. He really hams it up. It's a lot of fun to watch him.
And so he grabs what are supposed to be like the tent lines. If it was a big top, it'd be like the tent lines that come down to support lines. But they're actually like metal cables here because they're spaceships. So he grabs them and he gets electrocuted. He gets shocked.
Gets the shit shocked out of him.
Then a clown like opens up a hatch or something like that, points his laser gun, and he gets zapped by the clown's laser gun. And
he just cuts.
And it just cuts away to the police station where we meet Captain Mooney, who is like just a huge asshole the entire movie. He's like the old Grinch. I mean, he's just crotchety and just an ass.
He's a guy who's been a cop probably way too long, got passed over for promotions, just is kind of an asshole old cop.
Yeah.
And he's booking two guys that were like gothic.
They're punk. They weren't
punky gothic
Punky
guys who were walking in the park sharing a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
So I guess if you kind of go 80s here, let's see. It's like two guys in the park sharing wine at night. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards they're gay.
Yeah. So not much. We just get introduced to Mooney here and his assholeness and his demeanor, and not much happens. We cut back to Mike and Debbie, and now they're in the woods looking for the crash site.
Yeah, they went to go investigate the shooting star.
So they drive up and they hop out of the car. And then Mike hops up on the hood of the car like a goddamn monkey, squatting over it. And he does like a pretty racist Indian impression. I mean, it's really racist, like stereotypical straight up racist Indian impression.
We must travel many moons. My people will be covering the lands. It's like pretty bad.
It's like something you see like an old John Wayne movie type Indian impression.
Right.
It's really that Like stereotypical racist.
Why doesn't he just get out some fire water?
yeah. Smoke the peace pipe while he's at it.
Right.
So anyway, they go off and they find the big circus top, and they go inside.
So they find, the Debbie and Mike find the big top, and right off the bat, Debbie's like, I don't know, this isn't right. There's something really, really wrong about this. And Mike's like, no, it's a circus. It's a circus in the middle of the forest.
Yeah.
Let's check it out. Yeah.
So they come to a set of doors, and there's a key panel, but it's not really a key panel because it's made up of a series of three clown noses, big red noses. But Mike somehow just perfectly touches the noses in the right order to unlock the door. Boop, 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 boop. Like, how does he know how to unlock the door? Like, this is space. He's like, boop. He just does it perfect. No trial and error, just unlocks this door first try.
So you know that you just confirmed.
Mike's an alien.
Yeah, Mike is the...
he's in on it.
You know,
he's the inside
he's
man.
the one to lay the groundwork and says, you know what, this town is prime.
He's the sleeper cell.
Yes.
So this leads to a giant chamber. And the first thing I think of when I see a chamber, first thing popped in my mind was Star Wars. And when I mean Star Wars, it reminds me of the scene where Luke and Leia are running from stormtroopers. They come and they have to swing across a giant gap to the other side.
Yeah.
That's what this room looks like, only like in acid trip clown colors.
Right, yeah, it's kind of funny because
they even shoot it from the high up angle to look down to make it look bigger and more expansive.
Right, and it's got nothing in it except
there's no reason there. Like, they walk in a door and just the platform just ends, so there's no room to get to. There's this like giant Tesla like stack electricity, like one of those things you put your hands on, like electricity would shoot.
One of those things you get at Spencer's Gifts. Yeah. It's got the electrical field coming off of it, kind of like a Jacob's Ladder type of effect, you know.
But that's all. It's a huge thing, but there's no floor in it. It's just, so what's the purpose of this room in the first place? There is none.
But they were even curious about it too. Like, what is this? A missile silo? A nuclear reactor? They were all confused about it as well.
That's true. So that's when they realized that it's not a circus or a funhouse, and I'm like, well, no shit, really? Duh. So they go into the next room and they find this giant cotton candy.
It's like a warehouse.
Pods.
It's like a warehouse.
It's like a storage. It's like the cargo hose.
Yeah, and there's a couple of these cocoon, like cotton candy cocoon
that's
things.
Exactly what they are. Like cocoons made of cotton
just a
candy.
couple of them, maybe about 10.
And they start picking away, like, oh, it's cotton candy. But then they find that there's people inside these pods.
Yeah, they peel the cotton candy back, and there's a bloody face. It's kind of gross.
Yeah,
it's actually pretty grim. It's it's like the skin is melting, and it's just all raw
red.
Yeah,
bloody. Yeah. Totally. And then, so now we finally see one of the clowns. One of the clowns comes in carrying a new cotton candy pod, and Mike's like, "Oh my god, that's Joe Lombardo." They say that's the guy's name in the pod. And then so they cut back to the clown who's seen, and the clown's seen operating like this giant popcorn popper that has like 6 big ass levers on it, and he's just moving these things back and forth. And there's popcorn popping, and this is where he hears Mike and Debbie, and he grabs this large cartoonish gun that shoots popcorn.
Yeah, he starts chasing him, and then we're like, "Run away!" He's chasing him down. They're pretty far away, and he takes a shot with the popcorn gun, and it shoots out this probably like a trash bag's size worth of popcorn. It's a huge burst, and it just follows him through the halls.
It's heat-seeking popcorn is what it is.
It like goes through 3 different cut scenes of them running into different halls and around corners, and the popcorn's like following them. And they run out the tent, and it boof. It like blows them out of the tent.
Yeah, totally. And so they get away, and then 2 clowns meet. 2 other clowns meet up outside as Mike and Debbie got away. They had popcorn on. They shake it off and they run away. 2 more clowns come up, and one of the clowns. This is like brilliant. It's so stupid. It's
I love it.
But one of the clowns makes a dog balloon animal.
They're kind of looking for like, where'd they go? And the one just goes, aha, and like pulls out a bunch of balloons, starts flapping his hands together, and all of a sudden they've got like a balloon dog that's going.
It comes to life. It comes to life. It's like their tracking dog, a balloon animal
sniffing down the trail.
And it loses this thing to follow Mike and Debbie out into the woods, and they chase after him. Mike and Debbie get back to their car, which surprisingly starts on the first try.
Yeah, rare thing in these
like
movies.
The first, I was surprised by that. And they put in reverse. They back into the 2 clowns and the balloon dog. The 2 clowns knocked down. The balloon dog's killed, and a 3rd clown leaps on top of the hood, but it's flinged off as Mike and Debbie drive away down the road. Now, we see like a group of clowns walking slowly through the woods, and they come to a sign that says Crescent Groves 5 miles. Now, the only reason I bring this up is because this is obviously a sign for the town, but it looks like a goddamn yard sale sign. It's basically it's like in a bush that's barely visible, and it's just like a whiteboard that somebody painted black on it.
And it's like knee high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a sign for like, like you see driving down the road, it's like, St. Louis or Belleville, next exit, like big old thing. Or
whatever, Frogtown. Even
Yeah.
whatever size town, there's usually a good size
it looks
sign.
like a goddamn yard sale sign.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, because it's just ridiculous.
It's funny, I didn't even think about that.
So Mike and Debbie, they get to the police station, and they rear end a cop car because for some reason I don't know why it's stupid, because they obviously had enough room to slow down and put the brakes on, but no, they decided to ram right into a cop car with cops watching too, and they don't act. And the cops are like, "Hey, you rear my car?" They're like, "It's totally cool."
Hey, asshole, you hit my car.
And most people, I think, once you get arrested for like damage to police property, like that's an arrestable
Or at least a
offense.
ticket or something. Yeah.
But no, that's fine. They run to the station, and during this scene, we see one of the clowns walking down the sidewalk in like downtown of this little town, and he passes like this automatic store mascot of like a gorilla who it's like somebody see like a Chuck E. Cheese or
A robotic gorilla just kind of just going
turning,
back and forth. Yeah.
So he decides to imitate, and
Mimic
he
it.
stands on the other side. And he starts doing like robotic movements that act like he's a animatronic thing, so the people passing by don't know what he is. Which makes no sense, because in like the next scene, he's in there destroying a drugstore, and everybody knows who these clowns are, so why hide it? But anyway, so the police station, we have already met Mooney, and of course, he does not believe Mike and Debbie at all.
Yeah,
And
Mike and Debbie are saying, they're telling exactly how it happened. They're not being too crazy.
No, but at the same time, you
they're
guys
saying they're
cop would
cotton
not
candy
believe.
cocoons. These guys are clowns. I don't know what they are.
Popcorn guns.
Yeah,
It's like,
and
cops,
then-
of course, could be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
are you
Mooney's
guys
like
on?
Mooney's like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
Quit jerking me around. But
What's I can understand him not believing, but what's bad about what was ridiculous in this scene is that he's a cop, so he's supposed to be authority figure. He calls Debbie a tramp and Mike a little fart during this conversation.
well, it's not illegal to do that.
No, but
you
still,
can
you
still
think
be a dick.
apparently. So now this is where Dave, the young cop, and the guy who pretty much becomes the third amigo in this movie,
And he's quite handsome.
he shows up, and he's like, "Dude, I want to believe you guys." So he takes Mike and Debbie to go investigate.
Yeah, he takes it seriously because he's like, "Okay, look, you're saying people are dead.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go check this out," which is a pretty decent move.
Yeah. So yeah, stand up guy. It cuts to this gazebo, the scene of the gazebo where one of the clowns has like this puppet show booth
like a
mixed up.
marionette kind of booth
Like,
or
not
something.
even a marionette.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like
like a hand puppet booth. Yeah,
hand puppet booth. And there's this random dude in there who's just like watching this thing, watching this puppet show, and he laughs at it. But apparently, you're not supposed to laugh at the puppet show because that pisses off the clown, who then stands up behind the booth. The booth
Huge
falls.
clown.
It's
This clown's
massive.
got to be like 7 feet tall.
Yeah, some of the clowns are huge. Some of them are small. They're really weird looking. And he pulls out this cotton candy laser gun and just zaps this guy, and basically puts
Gets
him
cocooned into this cotton
candy cocoon. So CCC,
Yeah.
C squared. So now it goes back to the clown in the drugstore. Like I just mentioned, but at this point he's like destroying the place.
But it's like out of curiosity. He's not wrecking the place like to wreck the place. He's like going through the shelves, looking at stuff, and he's just knocking stuff over.
Yeah.
And the counter clerk is going, "Excuse me, oh my,
Which is
oh
weird
no."
because you see in the short, like in the shot, he's zapped and cocooned. Like all
At
the,
least
all
two
the
people.
customers,
At least two people,
But
yeah.
the pharmacist or the store owner or whoever it is, he leaves
Like,
him alone.
can I help you? Oh no,
He's like,
don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, one, he's cocooning people. Two, he's wrecking your store. Three, he's a fucking giant 7-foot clown.
With fangs and
Right.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you stop for 1 second and either do one of two things: call the fucking cops or get the fuck out.
Yeah, I would say just get the fuck out. But
Yeah.
but you're right. He stays there for a
And
long
just,
time.
can I help you?
So it cuts back to Dave and Debbie and Mike in the cop car, and we learn some background. We learned that Debbie and Dave used to date either in high school or a few years ago, or who knows how long ago in this movie. But they used to be a couple.
Dave still has feelings for her.
But she was out on a date with Mike, or is dating Mike now. And some of this, at this point, I was kind of skipping ahead to a few things, just trying to get So there's this scene that I call the pizza scene. Now, this girl in lingerie, and it's not it's basic 80s lingerie. She opens the door, and there's a clown
with 4 boxes of pizza.
It's 4. I thought it was like 2, but anyway, 2 or 4 boxes of pizza, and
he just goes, pizza.
Yeah, and she's like, what? And she's like,
and she's holding a glass of wine, and she looks like she's in sexy, like, in lingerie, kind of looking like sexied up.
There's 3 clowns.
Yeah,
pizza. 3
and
clowns.
then they just go, and she goes, ooh, pizza, huh?
Like, and she's
what?
like, and she's like, oh, pizza. No reaction to the fact that it's being delivered by these giant, grotesque monster
freak
clowns.
show clowns. I mean, when you answer the door, be like, what is happening?
And which begs the question: 1, did she even order pizza, or is it like, because if you didn't order pizza and you have all these things showing up at your door, pizza, like, why react on more? But if she did order pizza, then how the hell did these clowns know that they ordered pizza? Like, it's what the logic here just is. It hurts your brain if you try to think too hard about this and try to make sense.
But this next like half hour or 20 minutes is full of these weird scenes.
Yeah, it really is. So the clown. So basically, all I got is the clowns are just going around like random houses with pizza boxes, and just. But anyway, so the smallest clown with green hair, he pops up out of the pizza boxes and zaps her with the cotton candy gun. And so they say another random scene. Like the next thing is another clown knocking on this door of this older couple,
and she telegram, delivering a candygram or something,
heart-shaped box of chocolates. And the woman's like, she totally thinks this is normal. I was like, oh, that clown's totally normal looking. No.
And she goes, oh, Harry, did you do this for me?
Yeah. And they have, like I said, these things are fang teeth, giant heads.
Huge. These
large,
are, most of them are massive.
Yeah, large, crazy looking ears.
Terrifying.
Giant mouths. And but she gets zapped, but this one's off screen, so she gets cocooned. So now we're back to Dave and Debbie and all them. And Dave and Mike drop Debbie off at her house. But she tells Dave that she wants to follow them because I want to check this out. I'll follow you guys. He's like, no, stay here. And the 2 guys drive off. It cuts back to the drugstore, which, again, there's ransacked place. I'm skipping that. So Dave and Mike finally get out to where the big top ship landed.
They go back out to the woods where the tent is, and it's gone.
It is now gone, yes. So at this point, Dave's like, okay, you're making this up. I'm arresting you.
Now, it's gone, but there's a giant crater.
Yes.
Huge crater in the ground.
Yeah.
And so Mike is saying, I don't know where it's gone. It's gone. It's not here. And he's like, quit pulling my chain. I'm arresting you. Well, you know what? There's still a huge anomaly that just occurred right here. You think that you'd maybe listen to him a little bit more, seeing that there is a massive, massive, massive hole in the middle of the forest that just came out of nowhere.
Yes, I totally agree with you on that. It's huge. And
so that bothered me.
Yeah, so he basically puts Mike in handcuffs and puts him in the back seat and tries to arrest him.
You're being funny, kid.
This scene is, the next scene, it's so weird. This whole movie is weird.
Yeah, so this is another one of those weird scenes.
The little clown that popped up out of the pizza box.
He's maybe about 4 foot.
Yeah, he's the small one. He pulls up in front of a biker bar and his gang of bikers while riding a tiny but very, very colorful bicycle. It's like a size for like a toddler's, training bike basically. But it's. And so of course,
and there's about 30 bikers hanging out.
I don't know if it's that many, but there's a lot of them. Yeah. There's definitely double digits for sure. And of course, the bikers are harassing him and laughing at him. And the big biker, he comes up from behind and he's like harassing the clown. And he's like, "Can I ride?" And the clown's like, And he's like, "Well, can I honk the horn?" And the clown's like, And he honks the horn, and then he's like, "Ah ha ha!" And then he picks up the bike
over his head,
and it just smashes
smashes the shit out of it, stomps on it, just is like, what a dick.
Yeah. So at this point, the clown leaps into the fucking air like Superman, taking off the fly. And they're like, "Where'd you go?" And he comes down, and he's wearing boxing gloves.
And he's like, "Put up your nukes, put up your nukes."
And he does like this little dance. He's like wobbling side to side and spinning in a circle, going, and then he just punches the head of the big biker right off his body.
The big biker's laughing at him. He's like, "What are you going to do, knock my block off?" And then, boom, head goes flying off.
Into a trash can.
In the trash can. And then the one black biker goes, "God damn!"
Yeah. And the bikers scramble and they ride off. And that's the whole scene. Then we'll go back to Big Top Burger. And you get one of the giant clowns, one of the big clowns. He's sitting on like this donkey ride out front of the store, or in front of the restaurant, and he's like being all pedophile creepy because he's looking at this little blonde girl, and he's like giving like this like
He's
come
playing
hither
peekaboo.
finger.
They're
Yeah.
like she's bored sitting in the restaurant, and he's waving at her, playing peekaboo, and starts enticing her, like, come outside,
Yeah.
kind of, motioning with his hands and fingers to come outside.
So the girl's like, oh, okay, sure, I'll go outside to the scary looking monster clown.
And while he's sitting there enticing her, it pans to what's behind his back. He's got a giant fucking hammer.
Yeah,
And honestly, I was just like, oh.
It's like this comical giant red and yellow mouth. It's like the
Like
kind you'd
the
use for, like, the
strongman.
strongman.
Yeah.
Yeah, strongman things. Hit the, ring the bell.
When
thing.
I saw that, I was just like, oh, please. Oh, please.
I won't lie, I was hoping for it too. I was like, oh, but no, the mom catches her going out the door and brings her back before she gets hammered by the clown. So Dave and Mike are driving up to Makeout Point, and they find all the cars abandoned and trash all over the place. But the cars now are covered inside and out with cotton candy.
Yeah.
So Dave's like, oh, shit, okay, maybe you were touched. So he takes the handcuffs off Mike, and he finds these glasses. He's, oh, these were Bob McReach, that's the character that Chris Titus played.
Yeah.
The Titus guy was playing. So they're like, oh, okay, now something's up. Starting to believe you. So they go back to the police station, or they cut back to the police station, and Mooney is just getting bombarded with phone calls from all the townsfolk, keep yelling about the clowns are attacking, all this stuff's going on.
And he's like, bullshit, you're
bullshit.
trying to trick me.
He thinks it's the entire town playing a prank on him.
So he's paranoid, like class A paranoid.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I'm not believing any of this, even though the entire town is saying the same thing. So we cut to what it turns out is a flashback. You don't really know, but in my research, it turns out this is actually a flashback, but not meant to be. It's weird. So we get this car crashing where you see this guy driving his car, and all of a sudden a clown comes pulling up beside him, and he looks out the window and he sees the clown, like, what the fuck? And he looks out, and the clown's just like flying. He's not in a car or anything. He's just
holding a pair of handles.
Yeah,
like
and there's
handlebars.
like headlights, car headlights, but there's nothing underneath him. So he's just flying, and he starts ramming into the car. He tries running the car off the road. The car runs off the road, flies off a bridge, and explodes. The only reason sort of, it catches
just
on
like
fire.
Sort of catches on fire.
And I'll come back to this why this is confusing. But anyway, so that's the whole thing. But just keep in mind, this guy, the guy who's driving, is Joe Lombardo, who we already saw in the cotton candy pod earlier. So it goes back to Debbie, who's getting ready for a shower, and she's taking off her clothes, and popcorn falls out of her clothing and from the popcorn gun, and
starts to move.
Yeah, and the popcorn starts to move on its own.
Starts to wiggle around the floor and make its way to different spots in the bathroom.
So we cut back to Big Top Burger, and now the clown we saw earlier opens a bag. The same clown that tried luring the girl out. He opens this big old bag up, and it's filled with popcorn. He takes some out and sprinkles it into a dumpster, and then walks away, which is really weird. That's it. So this burger employee comes out to dump trash in the dumpster, and he hears noises coming from inside. He opens the lid, and he's like, what's going on? And he practically is like halfway into the dumpster. He doesn't just look, he's like halfway into the thing. And he gets grabbed by some unseen
Don't know what
thing.
it is.
He just grabs in the dumpster, screaming.
So we know it's something to do with the popcorn, so we're waiting for the popcorn reveal.
Right. So that's the whole thing.
Yeah, so we're kind of intrigued because we saw the popcorn crawling around in Debbie's bathroom. We see the clown put some popcorn in the trash can and grab the dude, so we're like, uh-oh, what's going to happen to Debbie? So it's kind of,
Yeah, it's building the suspense.
Right.
So now we get to the scene at a bus stop, which is, again, crazy fucking bonkers. What happens here? So one of the clowns is comes up to a bus stop with like 5 or 6 people at this bus stop, and he starts like making shadow puppets on the brick wall behind him with his hands, and they're crazy, but it's not like the little rabbit and the dog, but there's it's the combo like so elaborate that there's no way an actual hand could do this.
like George Washington sailing across the Delaware.
Yeah, exactly.
like a dancing, sexy
there was
Egyptian
like
woman,
like a
and
belly dancer,
belly dancer type thing.
And so the bus stop people were going, oh, that's great. So Mike and Dave pull up to the bus stop in the car just in time to see the clown make a shadow puppet of a T-Rex, and it has a red glowing eye. This T-Rex shadow puppet. And Mike's like, oh shit. And Mike tries forcing Dave to ram the clown with the cop car.
the T-Rex goes down.
Yeah, he goes and he eats the people. Eats up all these people.
Eats up all the people.
Just in one gulp, eats these people. Mike's like, oh shit, we gotta stop the clown. They try to ram the clown with the car, but the clown, just like the other one, just flies up out of the way.
Jumps way up in the air.
Like Hulk or
out
Superman
of there.
is just gone. And they ram the car into the brick wall.
Very slowly.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think the budget for the stunts was for special effects or stunts were very high. So now we go back to the police station. Dave is trying to get Mooney to call the state police for help. And Mooney still is like, I don't believe anyone. This is elaborate prank. The whole town is just
now his fellow police officer is saying,
like, you're just trying to get me to quit. You want my job.
There are clowns. Yeah.
And Dave, Mooney just tells Dave to fuck off. Basically.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck you. Get out of here. So Mike decides to use the Terenzi Brothers ice cream truck to kind of warn people about the clowns, using like the speaker system and the bullhorn or whatever to
stay inside. Don't let any clowns in. Because apparently people have been. We've seen like 3 or 4 instances where they have. So maybe this is a good idea.
Yeah. So it cuts back to Mooney, who lights up a cigar, and at this point he's ignoring all the phones are lighting up, every line's busy. He's just like, fuck
and he's
you,
just
town.
like, go to hell.
Yep, I'm gonna sit here and smoke my cigar and drink. So the clown from the burger place shows up,
big clown,
big guy, and he stands in front of Mooney's desk and he holds out this obviously fake bouquet of flowers and squirts Mooney in the face with water.
And Mooney's, you're in trouble now, clown.
So Mooney tries to arrest the clown. He puts handcuffs on, but the clown's hands come off. They're fake hands.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, so they don't work. And he ends up somehow gets the clown to go into one of the jail cells, which with the 2 punk kids he arrested earlier. And as the clown, who really did, plain old police brutality. As soon as the clown goes into the cell, he bashes it over the head with this nightstick.
Right.
But it doesn't do anything. The clown just turns his head around like an owl.
The clown goes, and then like his whole head does a 180 and his body stays forward. Yeah. It's kind of creepy looking. It's well done.
And so then he hold up like party popper, like one of those things that you blow on like the little
party noisemakers.
Party, and he blows it and it comes live and into a hand and it grabs Mooney around the neck and yanks him and he smashes him face first into into the cell bars.
Yeah, knocks him out.
So now this is where Dave pulls up to the police station. It's all dark.
This is where it gets kind of dark at this point.
Yeah,
this is where like the mood's kind of fun and weird and all this whack. But that's
this is the darkest scene of the whole movie.
This takes a cool turn.
Yeah,
like just takes.
So he's looking around the flashlight and there's clown footprints everywhere. Like comically large clown shoe footprints.
The lights are off. The lights are out.
But they're like red. It just looks like a red like latex cut out of a footprint, right? And they're plastic. There's red, blue, yellow. They're all they're all over the floor.
They're on the ceilings. It's on the floor at first, and it's leading to the jail cell. Yeah. And then when he opens up the jail cell, there's footprints everywhere,
floor,
on the ceiling, walls, all over the place,
everywhere.
And to be perfectly honest, I was like, that's kind of creepy.
It was. I agree. This is one of the cooler scenes, and it is definitely the darkest scene of the movie. So all the cells are all open, and the clown is gone. And in the cell, Dave finds 2 cotton candy pods, one with an arm hanging out of it.
Well, he finds the 2 cotton candy pods. He walks up to one, and this is the first time he's actually seen the cotton candy pod.
That's right, for him, yeah.
So he's looking at it, and he's like, okay, what the fuck? And he peels back the cotton candy, and he sees one of the punk kids' bloody faces. And he's like, ugh. And then all of a sudden, the one above him, the arm comes down. He's like, it's bloody. Yeah. It's dripping. It's a pretty creepy scene.
Yeah, it really is. It's the creepiest part of the movie. And so he goes back out and he finds the clown that is sitting at a desk, and he spins around and he's got Mooney. He's using Mooney as a ventriloquist dummy now. His face is painted out like dummy, and he's like, and Mooney's talking as he's like using. He's like something like, "Don't be afraid. We just want to kill you all," or something like that. And then,
it's kind of like he leans forward and it's real slow.
Yeah,
leans forward and goes, "Don't be afraid, Dave. All we want to do is kill you." And it's like, ooh, this is weird.
And the clown then pulls his hand out of Mooney's back and it's
covered in blood, and he whips it down, goes
yeah, to flick the blood off, and then Mooney's body just falls to the floor.
That's damn.
It's the darkest, creepiest scene of the whole movie.
Yeah.
So Dave pulls out his gun, he shoots the clown 3 times in the chest, does nothing. So then he takes aim. He's like, all right, I'm gonna aim this up. Shoots the clown in his big red clown nose. The nose explodes into glitter and confetti, and the clown screams and starts spinning in circles faster and faster, turning like this glowing green
disco
thing,
yeah.
and then it just
Blows
explodes
in like confetti, popcorn, and weirdness.
Boom.
Yeah.
So now Dave's like, "Fuck this!" He gets on the radio, calls the state police for help. Now it cuts back to the ice cream truck with Dave and the Terenzi brothers in it, and they're driving around, and they turn down the street, and they find this like, at first I thought it was a prey, but it's just like 3 or 4 clowns walking next to this giant vacuum machine car.
It looks like something out of Willy Wonka,
or like a Dr. Seuss car.
Right.
Like
That's probably a better description.
Yeah, it's got this giant like vacuum thing on the front, and they're basically going around sucking up all the
and
cotton candy pods.
They're like cleaning the town out. They're in houses like throwing pods out the window. Other guys are catching them. They're setting up areas for the vacuum cleaner to come by and suck them up. They're really doing a number on this place.
Yeah, it's total annihilation. So they drive away before they can get caught or be seen. Now it comes back to Debbie, who is still taking a shower. And keep in mind, I haven't written this down, but between the time I said she first gets in the shower and now, there are several scenes of cutting back to her taking the shower.
It's got to be like half.
This is like the longest shower ever because it's forever she's in there.
I enjoy a long shower, but if there's all this craziness going on,
you'd be in and out and get going. So she finally gets out and she gets dressed, and she opens up the hamper and out pops 2 clown snake-like monsters.
Yeah,
they basically like tiny clown heads, monster clowns with fangs and teeth and everything, attached like intestines,
like really long skinny necks or intestine.
They look more to me, like I said, they look more like intestines with a head on them.
Yeah, it's real creepy looking.
They're weird. Yeah, so she backs away from those, and then 2 more pop out from her medicine
cabinet
behind her and bite her into her shoulder,
biting onto her shoulders. She's fighting them. She reaches over for a can of hairspray and starts spraying him in the face, and she fights him off and falls back into the tub.
All right, so before I go on to I just for the listeners out there, at this point in the Messing Cat ones, you can't, if you look closely, and I freeze framed on this, you can clearly see the hole in the wall of the medicine cabinet and like a wire sticking through it that then attaches to the intestinal part of the clown monster. So you can clearly see where the puppeteer is working this clown.
Wiggling it around.
They did not cover it up very good.
You party pooper, Marshall.
I did take a picture of it, and I will post it on our Facebook page when this goes up. So anyway, Aaron, as you were saying, she hairsprays him, she backs up, and
she falls into the bathtub.
Yeah, and she before she does that, she kicks the hamper over, which I thought would be a dumb move because now you're just letting them out. Now they're going to crawl everywhere. And now one of the larger one of these things rises up out of the toilet, and Debbie shoves the shower. She has one of these like shower head on a hose. She shoves it into this monster's mouth, and she turns
cranks the water. Rips off the shower curtain, throws it over the ones on the floor, which is a pretty decent idea.
Yeah, and then runs out of the room.
Runs out.
She's in like her living room or something. And she hears a knock on the door, and
it's Mike going, Debbie.
Yeah, open the door. And she opens it up, and there's one that's big old clowns there, using Mike's voice. So she runs for the window, and she's about to jump out the window, which is apparently now on the second floor, Howard. Because at first I thought she was in like her living room, which is on the first floor. It makes no sense why it's.
Maybe she lives on a hill.
Yeah, it's really stupid. It's more like a fucking cliff.
Yeah.
So anyway, she opens the window. She looks down right before she jumps, and there's 4 clowns
with fire helmets on,
plastic fireman helmets, holding like a comical trampoline,
tiny trampoline.
Yeah, waiting for her to jump. And she's like, "Fuck that!" She backs into the clown that was at the door. Who lifts her up off the ground and tosses her onto the couch. 2 more clowns show up. And the clown just tosses her, pulls out one of their zappy guns, and zaps Debbie, encasing her inside a giant balloon or bouncy ball.
Yeah.
At this time, I couldn't really tell. It turned out it's a balloon, but at first it looked like it could have been a bouncy ball. So anyway, she's encased in this.
So this is the first time we see the balloon gun.
Yeah. Everything else has been cotton candy.
Everything else has been cotton candy. Yes. So what? Why are they using the balloon gun?
Well,
I don't know.
I know. Maybe, yeah. It's because it's not like they're keeping the women separate because they.
Right.
The cotton candy everybody else. So who knows? It's really weird.
Yeah.
I think it's just like, hey, we need some way to not, it's like, well, we can't put Deb in cotton candy because she's dead, so we have to have some other thing.
We got to keep her fresh.
Yeah, why she doesn't die. So Mike and the brothers pull up in front of Debbie's house just in time to see a clown tie the giant balloon with Debbie inside it to the clown car and drive off. So they give chase. They pass Dave in his cop car, who pulls out, and he's not. So you have a cop car chasing an ice cream truck who's chasing a clown car, zipping through the streets of this town.
And it's funny because this is kind of shitty film. You can tell it's like in fast forward. Yeah. You know, like they're driving the speed limit, but they loop the film a little faster to make it look like they're going fast.
Yeah. So the clowns, they pull up into like the local amusement park and the hideout. Now the security guard's like, "Hey, the park's closed. You gotta leave."
And the
now
clowns get out.
You get the clown car gag.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get like 5 clowns coming out of this little car. So you can't. I mean, of course that's going to happen in this movie.
And
I mean,
thank God it
wouldn't?
did. Yes.
I'd actually kind of be upset if they didn't do that.
Right. And the cops looking in kind of disbelief as to what's going on, the security guard.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, they all have pies.
Yeah, it's like they did have them everywhere. They cut away to the security guard direction. They come back and they're all holding pies.
And I love the security guard. He's just looking at him like, fuck. And he goes,
No, he doesn't. He's like, "What are
he's
you
just
gonna
looking
do
at
with
him like,
the
I'm going to
pies?"
get hit with these pies. What are you going to do with those pies, boys?
Yeah, like, gee.
Sure enough, whap, he just starts getting bombarded with these pies.
Yeah.
But then you can tell he's just going, ah. He's
I don't
just
remember him
screaming.
screaming. I don't even think
He's
he
kind of
screamed.
yelling, and he's trying to. He starts yelling, and he's just getting hit with so many pies. He just falls into a pile.
Basically, the pie. When Mike, Dave, and Ringling Brothers show up here, they
They find
first
the
of all,
pile.
and it's just like a melted pile of ice cream or whipped cream or something.
What looks like ice cream.
So
yeah.
basically, the pie's like melted this guy away.
And they go, it looks like ice cream. It's like, yeah, it's not ice cream. And
One
they
of the
show,
clowns one of the clowns put a giant cherry on top of this pile.
but they show, it's like, oh, it looks like ice cream. It's not ice cream. And they show a skeleton, like the cop or the security guard's skeletal arm hanging out.
I must have looked away. I missed
It's
that part.
melted him down. It's acid pie ice cream
Kind of
stuff.
like the stuff.
Kind of, yeah.
So anyway, at this point, they're in the fun house going after the clowns, and this is like what I call the weed smoker's philosophy moment, because Mike says something along these lines, and not word for it, but something along the lines that the clowns are not really clowns, but alien animals that look like clowns,
And maybe
maybe early astronauts or earlier generations saw these aliens, and that was the inspiration for our ideas of what clowns are.
I kind of liked it.
It was like, I'm like, only like that's like some totally like somebody smoking weed would like come up with. Like that is like the
Maybe that's why I like it.
yeah. It's like that's totally just a stoner's philosophy on that.
I loved it.
So at this point, the music part, like you said, the security like parks closed, we're shut down. I know I'm looking too much into this, especially for this movie, but if it's shut down, then why are the lights on and the fog machines working in this funhouse? Like the whole floor is like just fog creeping across the floors everywhere.
Well, this is no longer the.
No, they're still in the funhouse at this point. There's not. Eventually, they transition from the funhouse into these big top, but at this point, it's still the funhouse.
Well, maybe the clowns turned it on.
So anyway, they come to a door, and the two brothers fall through a trapdoor into a ball pit. And as they come out of the ball pit, the camera pans out, and there's two girl clowns,
Female clowns, girl
sitting on
clowns.
the edge of the ball pit.
Like,
and as they notice that
hello.
and as they notice their guys, like the girl's clown on like the left, her tits
Just
inflate like to comical sizes. It's crazy.
Now, it was funny because I forgot to mention this, or we forgot to preface this, is when Mike is trying to convince the brothers to go help him and find Debbie. They're like, I don't know, we got ice cream to sell. And they go, does she have any roommates? He goes, yes, she's got 2 roommates with big boobs.
Oh, yeah. and they love ice cream.
Yeah, and,
that's right.
ice cream. And it's so funny because when he falls in the ball pit and the 2 clowns are there and their boobs start to grow, he goes, are you Debbie's roommates?
That's right. Yeah, he does say that.
I got a kick out of that. I thought it was kind of funny.
So Mike and Dave end up in the big top spaceship now. They've transitioned over.
Mike recognizes where they're at.
Yeah, and they're into the cotton candy pod room.
And the room is now full.
It's
it's completely, whereas before there were just a couple pods or cocoons hanging around. Now it's just full. Full.
Yeah, I guess for the video game nerds out there listening, it's very similar to like the Mass Effect. Is the Mass Effect 2? Yeah, Mass Effect 2, where all like the humans are like sucked up onto the spaceship, and it's all these pods just everywhere, like just filled with these pods.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
But it's an awesome game, and we'll move on from now.
Nerd.
Yeah.
It's just plain.
No problem with that. So Mike's like, man, I think they got the whole town. So yeah, they have like everybody now. And the two of them, they start looking for Debbie, and one of the clowns enters the room, and Mike and Dave are hiding behind
It's
the
a real
pod.
fat one.
Yeah, it's one of the fat ones. And they're very bottom heavy.
Yeah.
They all like round, like there's like beach ball bodies like at the bottom. It's like
Very pear-shaped.
it's like they have feet, then I don't even know if they have knees. It's like feet and then like big old like just
butt.
big butt beach ball body, and then like all torso to a giant head with arms.
Kind of like a bowling pin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. It's a bowling pin with feet. That's
yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
So this clown like approaches one of the pods, and like all I can say is like he checks it for ripeness.
Yeah,
he's like tapping on like a melon or something.
Thumping it, kind of squeezing it,
Yeah.
and then he goes to another one, feels it, thumps it, and goes, ooh,
and he
yeah.
takes out like this huge crazy
a
straw.
giant,
It's giant.
crazy straw.
Slams it into the pot and starts sucking out what I can only assume is blood and walks
or,
away.
like digested.
Who knows what it is, but it's a red liquid. Yeah, and he walks away.
Belches.
That's right.
He does let off a good belch.
So finally, they find the balloon with Debbie inside. Dave pops it by shooting it with his gun. Debbie drops out saying, "I couldn't breathe in there." And at this point, I'm like, if that was really the case, first she would have been dead. She was in that balloon for a long time.
She was.
And she's just like, I granted there was some amount of oxygen when she first came there, but for the amount of time she was in that thing, she probably would have been dead before they got to her from suffocation.
Oh yeah, she'd been pretty proper fucked.
So
yeah.
I'm just saying that's not right. So anyway, so the three of them begin to make their escape as the clowns start chasing after. I'm skipping a few things here just for time.
Now, and this is where I was just about to like call out the movie when they finally like did something right. There's balloons all over the place. Right, there's the cotton candy things, but there's a whole row of balloons too.
Not as many, but yeah, there is like a line.
Right,
of balloons.
so they free Debbie, and then they're running away, and I'm like, why the fuck aren't they checking the other balloons for people?
They don't care about anybody else.
But
in town.
the cop does say, guys, we need to check and see
does.
it. He does, and I was just like, I was about to like write down, fuck you guys, but then I'm like, oh damn it,
But they're like, we don't have time.
Yeah,
we
and they didn't because more clowns started chasing them.
So anyway, so now we get. Like I said, I'm skipping a few things of this chase scene because this first time. But Dave does again. He takes out a shotgun and shoots one with his shotgun, and right in the nose, and it explodes into confetti and glitter. And they come to the end of a hallway with a door, and you get like this Alice in Wonderland door gag. Open a door, another door inside. Open a door, and each door is progressively
It's so
smaller.
lame because Mike's opening the doors, Dave's shooting him off, but Mike's going, another door, another door, another door. It's like, okay,
We got it.
okay,
yeah, it's pretty bad. So they finally crawl through the small door, close behind him, and use the shotgun to kind of lock. Keep
So
them
now
open.
they're stuck in this
giant, it's huge.
room with like a platform on it.
Yeah, it's a really colorful platform. So maybe they just were supposed to represent like the three ring, like the big ring of a 3-ring.
Hey, I never thought about that, but yeah, it's kind of like I guess the center of the big top, if you will.
Yeah. And so now, but they're surrounded by clowns because clowns start coming out from behind these.
And they've got
things.
bats and hockey
bat.
sticks and golf clubs and
But they're all clownized,
colorful
and bubbly, and
yeah,
bright
look really
looking.
cute. Yeah.
So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the ice cream truck comes crashing through the wall, and the brothers use their speaker system to tell the clowns that they are the great and powerful JoJo. The clown,
Leave them
and let
alone.
them alone.
And it's funny because they pan over to the brothers and their shirts are all ripped up and they're covered in giant kiss marks.
Yeah,
like so
they were making out with the girl
they
clown.
must have got lucky with the Debbie's roommates.
The roommate,
yeah.
And like I said, the truck does have a giant clown head on top where the speaker comes from.
So the clowns are distracted. They're looking at this thing like, what?
And forgive my phone ringing in the background if you can hear that. Yeah. But so yeah, they actually buy it for a second. Like, okay. So Mike, Debbie, and Dave, they start heading to the car, and they're about to get into it as, but then all of a sudden from the ceiling, this giant. I mean, it like we've said big up, but this thing is like giant clown descends.
Clownzilla.
That's what it's called. It is
Clownzilla.
Clownzilla comes down from the ceiling. The other clowns scatter, like, oh, let's get the fuck out of here. They go back to where they're hiding. And Clownzilla at first looks like a marionette because it's got all these strings on it, but he rips the strings off and he attacks the truck. Mike, Dave, and Debbie get away from the truck in time. He
The
picks
brothers,
up the
the
truck,
brothers are still in the truck.
still in the truck. Picks up the truck and just starts pummeling it, like just bam, bam,
Smashing it.
like hammer fisting it.
Yeah.
And then just picks it up and then throws it into the wall, and it just
Blows
boom,
up,
it
explodes.
And we're to assume that the brothers are still inside. At this point, Dave's like, Mike, Debbie, you guys got to run for it. I'll distract it.
Yeah, so there's the hole in the wall that the truck drove through.
Yes.
And says, run for it. Get out of here. I'm going to distract, this clown. Debbie and Mike take off.
Yeah, they take off running. And at this point, you see the cables, what are supposed to be the tent cables, or the electrical grounding cable holding the ship down. They get ripped out of the ground. They get sucked up into the black ops. So we're like, okay, the ship's about ready to take off. It's about ready to leave. Mike and Debbie, and it starts spinning. It starts rotating.
Starts to rotate like a top.
Yeah, exactly like a top. And they run out, and the state police finally show up. They're in the parking lot.
Bunch of police start coming out. The police are like, what the hell? They see this big top starting to take off.
Yeah. And it cuts back to Dave, who now has been scooped up by Clownsville, kind of like King Kong picking up Fay Ray. And but he manages to get his hand free, and he grabs the badge off his uniform and takes the pin,
pointy end of the
pin of it, and he just pops Clownsville's nose with it, and of course the nose explodes and more confetti and glitter, and this causes Clownsville to start spinning and spins into this green disco light bulb, and then it just explodes.
The entire big top.
Yeah.
The whole ship blows up, and you see it from the point of view of Mike and Debbie. They see it blow up, and they're like, ah! And they're like, oh, no. Oh, poor brothers and
then,
Dave. Yeah,
the whole thing explodes. Clownsville explodes. The big top spaceship explodes. And, Dave and Debbie, or Mike and Debbie are out in the parking lot with the cops. They're like, oh, no. And then, bam, the clown car lands right next to Mike and Debbie. And, of course, Dave gets out of the clown car. He's like, oh, you're alive. But then the Terenzi brothers, they pop up from behind it as well.
with ice cream in hand.
Covered in, like popsicles in hand. They're covered in ice cream and sprinkles and all sorts of stuff. And they have their popsicles in hand.
And they're like, how did you survive? What happened? I saw the truck blow up.
Yeah, and they're like,
they go,
well, we hid in the freezer.
We
with
got in the
ice cream.
freezer.
And I wrote I'm not sure that would really work if you're
Yeah,
an exploit. But
and-
then I also wrote, at this point, who fucking cares? I really,
All fucks are gone.
Yep. So Dave, at this point, he's standing there. They're all standing next together. Dave, and he's got his hand on Debbie's arm.
Dude, I
shoulder,
was thinking the same
and
thing.
He kisses her on the head as glitter and confetti rain down on him.
He's
Now, keep in
all
mind,
up on Mike's girl.
Yeah, Mike's like right next to him, looking at him, and does nothing. So at this point, I'm like, Dave's like, "Fuck you, Mike. I'm taking
I
your
know.
girl."
I
Debbie's
know.
Like, I think this is my theory on what happens here. So Debbie's like, "Oh, Mike, you saved my life. Fuck you, Mike." Because she doesn't really say, "Thank you, Mike. You helped me." She's like, "Fuck you." She doesn't really care, but she's all on Dave's jock now. And here's what I'm thinking. That's what I bet would happen if we saw like the after effect of this movie, like 6 months down the line. I bet this would happen. Debbie dumps Mike again. She dumps Mike. She gets back with Dave. But after the short-lived because you saved my life high is over.
thrill is gone.
The thrill is gone. It's back to fighting and arguing. They break up again, and Mike's left like, well, fuck you. You dump me. I'm not coming back to you. So Debbie's like, oh, no, I fucked it up with both. And she turns into like a crackhead, an alcoholic, and just becomes like, a whore on the street or something like that because she has fucked everybody over.
Wow, and then Dave becomes like the new Mooney because he's so distraught and heartbroken.
He lost Debbie twice.
He
now.
just doesn't care anymore, and he becomes an old, bent out of shape.
Cop, and Mike just like, fuck you all, and he leaves town.
And Mike goes off to
big
be
grander
happy.
things like L.A. or something like that. Yeah, that's my theory on what happens after the movie.
Came out of nowhere, but I like it.
So anyway. All right. Anyway, after the confetti and glitter rain down, the splat, they all get covered in pie falling from the sky. They're covered in pie, freeze frame,
Roll credits.
Now, I did notice in the credits, because I watched the credits to see if anything would happen. I did notice near the end of the credits, there's actually someone credited for the clown dialect, which is bullshit because the clown, they don't speak, and anything they make noise, it's just like synthesized like
Gibberish.
like
Yeah.
it's it's ridiculous. So I can't believe somebody actually got credit for that.
Like there's a couple words they say, like when they deliver the pizza, like pizza.
Yeah, but that's Mike, and that's
no, like when the clowns
but again,
deliver.
But dialect means like the clown's language.
Well,
That means
yeah,
their special
that's
language.
true,
So
yeah.
anyway, it's just ridiculous that they actually got credit for that. So all right,
Sweet.
that is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So with that fresh in mind, we're going to go into our segment of favorite kills.
There can be only one. Favorite kill.
So we'll go through this. We go through and pick out our favorite kills, and from the movie. And some of these there weren't a whole lot to choose from this week. But Aaron, go ahead. What was your favorite kill from this movie?
Mooney. That whole scene. I mean, you really didn't see him get. I mean, you saw his head get hit on the bar, but it's that scene where he's operating him like a puppet, and he's holding him up, and it's the whole movie's so lighthearted and fun, and just kind of goofy and silly, and you're having a good time. But then it shifts gears just enough to kind of make you think this is kind of fucking scary.
Yeah,
and you see a good amount of gore. I mean, from just taking his arm out of his back where he's operating him like a puppet and just hand covered in gore and just whoosh, makes that gross sound when he whips it down. It's a great scene. It kind of it shifts it a little bit. They don't continue with that theme to the rest of the movie, but it's a nice break from the slapstick.
The slapstick. That's an interesting choice because I agree with you. It is the darkest and more like eeriest part of the movie. But I guess I have a hard time picking Mooney just because because of fact you don't really know what kills him, whether it's the bars or you don't really see it. But it is great. Basically for me, I was either torn between the bus stop shadow puppet eating or just the actual kill where you actually see violence. I was just the guy getting his head punched off.
Yeah.
Because that's the only one where you actually see any kind of like real kind of violence and gore. Because everything else is like cotton candy, or pies, and it's slapstick. So, I'm gonna go just to mix up. I'm gonna go with the biker who gets his head punched off.
That is a pretty cool scene. I mean, it is gory.
Like I said, up until that point, it's all cotton candy, fun and joke, slapstick, and then bam, head actually comes off.
Yeah,
so.
like punched off, and you see the headless body just kind of collapse. I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So there we go. There's our favorite kills. Moving into odds and ends.
Not only did they watch these films, they researched them too. Ugh, what is wrong with these guys?
Starting off odds and ends like we always do. We start off with our ratings from other sites and what other people thought of this movie. Maybe it's not surprising for people because this movie has a huge cult following.
Yeah, it's a cult classic.
IMDb, it's one of the higher rated movies we've done so far. IMDb gives it a 6.1 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, this blew my mind. Rotten Tomatoes scores 70% on the thermometer.
Whoa.
That is the highest score of anything we've done.
Yeah.
70% is huge.
That's a great score.
It blows my mind.
Just for anything.
Yes, just because of the fact, I get it what it is. It's campy, it's slapstick, it's fun. It is intentionally B-movie, but still, to get 70%, that's like, there's a lot of huge blockbuster movies that don't get anywhere near that.
Right.
But it had a 59% audience score, which is still really high for what we do. And then Amazon had 4.5 stars out of 5. Just do a couple plot keywords next. I don't always do these, but these were some that were just kind of weird. Because I wrote these down thinking, if I just read these plot words alone, what kind of movie would this actually describe? Not if we didn't watch this already, I just read these words to you.
Sure.
Just take in mind what the hell would you think was going on in this movie.
Okay.
All right, the first one is lame. It's just title spoken by character. That's no. All right. Balloon animal. Shot in the nose. Blood drinking. Clown car. Pie in the face. Ice cream truck. Vampire. And child murder. Those, if you just put those, like hear those, like this movie has these things in, you're like, what the fuck is this movie?
Child murderer.
I think it's because they try to kill the blonde girl, but she never did do it. But it's like an attempt. But although, if you think about they pretty much killed the entire town, so they had to kill the kids too.
And there were varying. That's one thing I kind of liked about
the pods.
Were various sizes. So there were little pods, big pods. So yeah.
Yeah. So I just had to read those because those were. I thought
child murderer.
Yeah, child murder.
Blood drinking.
Yeah. So, all right.
Balloon animal.
It's the craziest list of plot
That's a
points
good
for
one.
this movie.
That's a good one.
All right, so here's some background information and trivia I found out about this movie. Now, here's what I'm talking about. Okay, not the clown car, the car scene where it goes over the bridge. We were talking about, kind of catches on fire, but they actually said here it explains why. Initially, it was meant to be more spectacular. The car was to fly over the cliff and crash down to the ground. Unfortunately, the sling rope snapped because the effects crew members neglected to remove the stoppers from underneath the car's wheels. The result was seeing the final film, the car slowly tumbles over the edge and becomes caught on a tree and then breaks into fire. So that's why it looks so shitty.
And just kind of sort of catches on fire.
And they didn't have the money to redo it, so it was a one-take thing.
That's good.
The budget was primarily on production costs. The clowns and visual effects were created most entirely by the filmmakers at very little cost.
Well, they did a great job because those clowns looked real creepy. They had the weird... I mean, they did a great job.
Yeah, it was pretty good for the budget they had at the time. The King Clown, or affectionately called Clownzilla, was actually played by one of the Chioda brothers. Charles Chioda was actually the one in the suit doing the acting for it. This one I thought I wrote it down, but I don't know why, but it's fucking stupid. Anyway, horrorcore is how it is pronounced. Rap group, the Insane Clown Posse, often sample quotes from this film in their music, most notably on their The Wrath Shangri-La album, which, sorry, ain't any listeners who listen, but ICP can blow me.
So yeah, the Juggalos, I think, may think this is quite a movie.
Yeah, they probably love it.
Man, this is kind of their gospel.
So the early version of the restaurant scene was shot showing the Chioda brothers sitting at a table in the background as extras. Originally, the movie ended with the Terenzi brothers as the survivors of the exploding spaceship, while Dave perished after killing the giant clown. But since the executive needed an upbeat ending, the Chioda brothers filmed a second ending that was in all versions where Dave and the brothers survived the exploding spaceship by hiding in the car, which is what we saw.
Yeah, I don't care. It could have gone either way. I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah, but the executive decision, we want an upbeat ending.
It's not so upbeat. I mean, we got...
they don't take basically the entire town is wiped off the face of the earth.
Dogs getting killed, child murderers, I mean...
Everybody in this town, except like 3 people, are dead.
Let's get this a nice upbeat ending.
Yeah. So, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, this is where I'm talking about the flashback with Joe Lombardo. Okay, the scene was intended as the opening prologue to the film, and the driver was the character Joe Lombardo. But this prologue was also seen where it was shot where Joe and his date are kissing on a deserted dark road, and after the date rejects him, he angrily drives off alone, only to meet the demise at the clown. However, it was decided to have an opening credit sequence to be shown first. The kiss and rejection scene ended up on the cutting room floor, and the car crash scene was placed at a later point in the film, with the driver not being Joe Lombardo, but ended up being the name of the dead person that Mike and Debbie discovered wrapped up in cotton candy in the final version.
They keep saying Joe Lombardo, like we know who this guy is.
Yeah, but they never mention him in the film.
Yeah, you never see him or mention him. Yeah.
Before he gets in cotton candy. So it's really weird. Now, here's the good news for everybody who loves this movie and all the followers. This is official. There is a sequel in the works set for a 2016 release called The Return of the Killer Clowns from Outer Space in 3D.
No way.
It is being written and directed by the Chioda brothers, and Grant Kramer, who played Mike, is set to return as Mike Tobacco.
No way.
Let's just talk about his name. His name is Mike Tobacco. Only in the 80s would you get a character whose last name is Tobacco.
Mike Tobacco.
Yeah, that's his name. So you get a sequel, folks.
Friends with Robert California.
And it's only a few months
Jake
away.
Miami.
Yeah, a few months away. We get the sequel to this after 20-something years.
Right. Hey, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I'll go check it out.
You might have to check this out.
Especially since the guy is reprising his role as Mike.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
So maybe, Marshall, your theory actually came true.
Oh, maybe it does in the sequel.
Yes. Nice.
That would be hilarious. All right, so now would be the time that we would normally do the budget game. But Aaron fucked it up this week.
I didn't mean to. Guys, I'm so sorry. I was curious about the guy who played Mooney. I typed IMDb to check Killer Clowns to find out who he was because I know I've seen him in other stuff. And just glancing at the page, I saw one of the first things it says under trivia. It says 2 million.
Well, okay. No.
Well,
I wasn't gonna let the listeners play at home, but we'll let you play at home. We'll take a short break, but nope, Aaron blew it again. So anyway.
Man, guys,
anyway.
I keep screwing everyone over. It was $2 million. It was $2 million.
All right, but what you might not know, which is again blows my mind, is the money it made, how much it grossed. Now, opening weekend on 893 screens, it made $2,657,329. So it made money on its opening weekend. It grossed in the United States as of July 1988. It grossed $15,625,095. That's huge
Not
profit
bad,
for this
yeah.
for this crazy banana bonkers movie. Gross worldwide, October 88, 43,600,000.
And then think about all the DVDs that were sold and
and
the cult following
the
that
action figures, T-shirts, and everything else that spawned
right
off from this. The
right.
collectors.
So this was this thing just keeps on trucking.
Yeah.
And now there's a sequel being made.
Yep, sequel is in the works. So that brings us to one of our final segments, 5-star reviews.
These special movies have a place in these special people's hearts. 5-star reviews.
Now, there were, again, being a callback, there were 38 pages of 5-star reviews on Amazon.
Dear God.
That is huge. I only wrote down, I think, 5 of them. And I tried to get some of the better ones, but I might have missed some of the really cheesy ones because there were 38 pages. But anyway, from Teresa G. Archer, also known as Red Rum, a.k.a. Murder. Nice screen name, Teresa.
That's
Anyway.
duh.
All right, I'm going to just start for fluidity's sake. When I say your, keep in mind it's written as you are in this movie. And watching is not watching, it's watching.
Watching.
So it's all fucked up. So anyway, this movie is awesome, especially if you're intoxicated. This movie is such a trip. I remember watching this movie when I was little. Great comedy horror. Watch this with your homies and they'll love it. Buy this movie. 5 stars.
Watch it with your homies.
I just think I wish you would.
Especially when you're intoxicated.
I wish you would have ended it by this movie, bitches. If she would have ended with bitches, that would have been just awesome.
And this in parentheses, drop microphone.
Drop microphone. I'm out. So, all right, next one. KFOS equals God. And just so Aaron can please, I wrote this exactly how it is. All caps, like all one sentence almost.
All right, so don't yell it.
I'm not
we
going to
get
yell
it.
because I'm just saying this entire thing is in all caps.
No sentence structure at all. So this might be kind of clumsy.
Yeah.
Okay.
This movie is the absolute greatest movie of all time. Screw everyone else who wrote bad reviews for it. I tried to find the English version to buy it, but I could only rent it. When I asked the video store to let me buy it, they would not sell it. I told them I lost it, but they said it would cost me $99.99. So I just gave it back and ordered the Spanish version. P.S. The Spanish is exactly the same as the English, but it has little Spanish words at the bottom. So buy it. P.P.S. I am part of the Killer Klowns from Outer Space cult. That's 5-star reviews.
That's so weird. Why didn't he just not go back to the video store if he has that much of a hard-on for it?
And I'm sorry, but how is the Spanish version the same except the fact that it's in Spanish?
Right.
But it's got little Spanish words. Like, what?
That's so weird. It's so
Yeah.
$99.99.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
God.
all right, next one is...
When was that written? Does it have a
I
date?
did not have a date on that one.
Oh.
There probably was one, but I didn't write it down.
Oh.
But it had to be. But keep in mind, if it was $99, that means it was before internet days, so I don't know why. Anyway, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's why I'm really curious about
So, Savantas Muse writes, this movie should be mandatory viewing in every history class. It might already be too late. 5 stars.
What? That's weird.
I love these things. All right, this is from just a random, there was no name. I saw this when I was like 6, so I don't remember it that much since I'm 13 now. All I remember is the end where the guy pops the clown with his badge or something, and then the pies hit them and it goes off. 5 stars.
5 stars. I really don't remember it. I saw it when I was 6. I'm just became a teenager, but I remember a clown getting his nose popped in pies, so I think it's
Yeah,
5
5
stars.
stars.
5 stars. Yeah.
All right. Last one from Antonio James Ballator. This movie scared the hell out of me in high school one night when I came home drunk.
Okay.
I urinated on the couch and barfed on the cat. Those clowns are such rascals. 5 exclamation marks. 5 stars.
Pissed himself and threw up on the cat. You sure it wasn't because you were just wasted, buddy?
Yeah.
That's weird. Hey, right on. Okay.
So that's our 5-star reviews. Closing out with our recommendations. Aaron, let me. So bad it's good. So bad it's scary. And your final comments.
So bad it's good. Oh, man. Now, I remember watching this when I was a kid, honestly. When I was about 9 or 10 years old, I remember seeing it on Cinemax and just, I loved it. It's got original music. You know, they kind of have this like weird like rock and roll Killer Clown song. The movie's entertaining. You don't have to, it's easy to follow. It's fun. I get it. 5 stars. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I highly recommend it.
5 stars from Aaron.
Yeah.
I too. So bad it's good. It's cheesy as hell. It's light. It's just like I said. Just sit back, enjoy, have your popcorn, your cotton candy, and just enjoy a night of pure, bizarre, banana bonkers cheesiness.
Yeah.
And have a good time with it.
And it's good when you're drunk, apparently. Or it's good when you're intoxicated. So
With
choose
your homies.
choose your substance, get your homies, and enjoy Killer Clowns.
Enjoy a night of greatness. So, all right, that's gonna do it for us this week. Remember, follow us on our Facebook page, our website, horriblehorrorpodcast.com. We're on Twitter at So Bad It's Scary. We're on Podbean, and you can find us on iTunes. Subscribe, like, 5-star us. It's all free, people. We do this for you. Yeah, I think that's going to be it. We'll be back in a week. So unless, Aaron, you have any other final words?
I just want to say a big shout out to Tucson, Arizona. I was there on business this past week, and I met a lot of cool people, a lot of nice people, showed me around. You know, I was there over my birthday on business, and people bought me drinks. So thank you so much, Tucson, for being cool.
There you go. Tucson, you're rocking. I agree. I like Tucson as well up in there. All right, that is going to do it for us for this week. We'll be back with another horrible horror movie for you next time. Take care, everybody. We'll see you down the road.
Hugs and kisses. Mwah.